Good evening at 6 o'clock on Friday, March 10th, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Albanian Prime Minister Rama is on an official visit to Berlin. Today he held a meeting with German Minister of Foreign Affairs Sigmar Gabriel, who praised the reforms the Albanian government has undertaken, especially the judicial reform, and guaranteed the continuation of a strong support for Albania's aspiration to join the European Union. Foreign Minister Gabriel said, "We want to advance Albania's integration into the EU. The plan is already on the table. I would like to thank you for carrying out the reforms and to your personal commitment and attitude in diffusing conflicts in your neighboring countries. On the eve of the election process, we know that the reforms are not simple, even in Germany. However, we know that most Albanians want further stability and progress." Prime Minister Rama thanked the foreign minister for Germany's support, especially concerning the judicial reform, and stated that Albania remains committed to implementing the vetting law. "Gratitude, especially for your support of the fundamental judicial reform. Thanks to your support and our partners' support, we are now advancing in our process. We hope to meet the challenge to start implementing the reform through vetting our judges and prosecutors as required by the European Commission's recommendation in order to enable opening accession negotiations with the EU. Once again, many thanks, and be confident that Albania and the Albanian people are very committed partners in this special relationship between Germany and Albania and the region as well," said Prime Minister Rama. The recent developments in the region and Albania's role as a factor of peace and stability were the focus of discussion between Prime Minister Rama and German Foreign Minister Sigmar Gabriel. The opposition's protest is now in the 21st day, and Democratic Party Chairman Lulzam Basha declared that the elections are not being boycotted, rather held out to wait for free and fair elections. "We are here for a big political aim, for a European cause, for free and fair elections. In conditions of criminalization of drugs and when an electoral reform is absent, when those who are afraid are sabotaging the judicial reform, there is only one solution, a provisional government, and Rama's removal," declared the DP chairman. According to Mr. Basha, the majority sabotaged the judicial reform by deviating from the constitution the parties approved with consensus in July of 2016. The DP chairman says that the elections will not be boycotted, but rather the opposition parties, together with the Democratic Party, will not register for the June 18th elections without a provisional government being established first. An official letter was sent to the Central Election Commission notifying it about their decision. The DP chairman gave assurance that the opposition will not withdraw, as according to him, withdrawing would be a betrayal to the Albanian citizens. Foreign Minister Bushati held a meeting in Shkoder today with representatives of the Socialist Party Youth Forum, where he commented on the judicial reform. Albania has many major challenges ahead, such as the judicial reform, which is fundamental to clean the justice system. Along with political and public life, the country and our society need models that represent our national values, declared the minister, who invited young voters to be more active in political life. "I want to urge young voters who will vote for the first time to be more active. We need more educated young people because the more the young generation is educated, the better society becomes," added the foreign minister. During his speech, Minister Bushati clarified that the young people were not taken from their classes to attend the meeting, but that they had the class off. The foreign minister's next meeting in Shkoder, which is his electoral area, will be with representatives from embassies that offer scholarships to the youth. The International Monitoring Board chairwoman, Genevieve Ruiz Calavera, responded today to the Minister of Justice's latest letter of concern that the establishment of the IMO board is unconstitutional. Ms. Calavera says that the IMO has not and will not make decisions out of its mandate predicted in the Constitution of Albania. The letter reads, "I am following up on the concerns expressed in your recent letters on the international monitoring operation. further to the letter sent by Commissioner Hahn to Prime Minister Rama on 17 February, which already contained a number of relevant clarifications. I would like to provide you with additional and more detailed information addressing the various points that you raised so that we can continue a meaningful and constructive dialogue on this important matter. The European Commission has taken the lead of the IMO with the utmost commitment to support the vetting process and reach its objectives as foreseen in the Constitution of Albania. The enclosed explanatory note was prepared with the aim of reaching a common understanding of the process. Rest assured that the IMO will continue to perform all its monitoring tasks with the utmost professionalism and impartiality, acting in full respect of the relevant legislative basis. In the explanatory notes, the IMO chairwoman states, "The European Commission services cannot comment on the concerns regarding the communication related to the IMO within the government of Albania, as this is an issue of internal organization to the latter. The IMO is an operation with monitoring functions that has no decision-making powers in relation to the actual carrying out of the vetting, and whose only aim is to provide recommendations to the institutions of Albania throughout the process. The Constitution of Albania explicitly aims to establish an operation that is fully independent from the Albanian authorities in order to guarantee external monitoring of the domestic vetting process." The note also states that there is no need to negotiate a new agreement for international monitoring operation. The Minister of Interior, Samir Tahiri, announced today that he has signed an order that obligates private entities to install high-resolution security cameras by December 28th as a security measure to increase public safety. After December 28th, the minister said, private entities will be fined if they have failed to install the security cameras, saying, "Private entities that preserve explosives or poisonous materials must install high-resolution security cameras and contract private security companies. Entities dealing with children's transportation should install cameras and GPS. Nightlife venues, casinos, educational institutions, stadiums, museums, etc. are obliged to install high-resolution security cameras," said Minister Tahiri. Based on the order signed with the aim to strengthen public safety, the minister emphasized that state institutions, cinemas, hospitals, parking lots, banks, buses, taxis, and apartment buildings must also install high-resolution cameras, and many private entities are obligated to contract private police and install GPS. It is not our own invention, but the world's. In world countries, it's unusual for a bank to exercise its daily activity without taking any safety precautions and then blame the state police when it is robbed. Let's take action all together to make the country safer by implementing these measures and make criminal activities impossible. We must do things differently than in the past. We must make breaking the law difficult for criminals, said Tahiri. The minister also commented on private police, declaring that private companies are being checked to see whether they pay private police officers according to the law and standards. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.